to yet another time of Cross Comics After Dark. I'm going to be coloring Absorb, who I drew last night. As you can see here. And of course, as usual, I have Metal with me.
Howdy.
And I was just telling Metal, when we see Absorb in the comic book, he's not going to look like this. Eventually, he's probably his second appearance. You'll see him in this suit. Again, I don't know when that second appearance will be. He'll probably be in a janitorial suit, something like this, because he's just getting his powers, or just finding out about his powers as the shield goes against him for the first time. So can you guys can't really see my cursor on here, can you? But the thing where it comes off, that'll probably just more be shoulder, right across the top, and then maybe an A for the symbol of the company, and he's janitorial, working with whatever, so he's gonna have gloves on and maybe boots, and he'll probably have half, a respirator, face mask on, so you'll probably see hair and real eyes and all that.
You would hope.
Yeah. Because, but then again, I guess I could give him goggles for whatever he's doing too, so you don't necessarily see his eyes, but maybe his head will be covered. I'm not sure. I have to come up with a design for the first comic book.
Well, what is he cleaning up, like janitorial eyes or whatever?
Well, he is the nuclear power plant, that toxic.
Even as a janitor, he would probably have like one of those plastic suits on, the ones that have the hood that you could tighten up and just like pull off as well.
Yeah.
So you could totally have most of his head covered.
Yeah. So when I initially designed this, I didn't realize that in the first issue that he was going to be in, he would be in this.
Mm-hmm.
But writing the story, it felt better, just to show his origin, just instead of just popping up anywhere.
Yeah.
Just popping up for no reason. It seemed neat to have the shield face him as he began his journey into villainhood.
It's almost like a chain reaction.
Yeah. Well, he's for the few people that have read the actual script, he actually killed a person before the shield got on the scene, but not meaning to.
Rick, that was a chemistry joke.
Oh, okay.
The theme of the character and these nuclear plant stuff, chain reaction.
Yeah. Oh, and I need to share this out too. Don't want to forget to
I
share.
probably should. Let me do that. I remembered the last time I started the stream with you to share it, but I forget a lot, so that's a good reminder.
Yeah. Sometimes I forget too. Let's grab it and put it in the Discord. Although I think I got the wrong thing up. Well, actually, when I saw it on my mom's thing on the TV, it had the right thing, but
the right what? Thumbnail?
Yeah.
It had the After Dark thumbnail when I clicked on it.
Yeah.
With the word absorb on there?
Yeah. And saying...
That's how it looks in my notifications. So.
Digital coloring. Just because when I went to share it on Twitter, it was show... Oh, no, not share it on, but when I clicked the behind the scenes thing, it's showing the High Noon one. So,
Mm-hmm.
it can get a bit confusing when it does stuff like that to you.
Yeah, that would happen to me all the time. What was it? When we were doing the Vomitorium back in the day, because I had different thumbnails for. We had a midweek mini-sode instead of doing it twice a week, where we do like a half episode, and it would show like the last one we did instead of the current one whenever we shared it. But if I checked like the thumbnail on YouTube or anything, it showed the right one.
Evan is here and he's saying, Rick. What, Evan? What would you like?
He's so tired.
Okay, I might have said Rick a few more times than he did. He's so tired.
Which probably means that he's not going to be making his character today, which is fine. I told him my schedule.
Yeah.
If he happens to be free any evening between now and... I guess Saturday was the initial day he said he'd be available. We could still do it on Saturday. Because depending on things, I don't know if we'll be able to start this weekend anyway.
Yeah.
Just because of marsupial situation. But once things stabilize, maybe next weekend. Regardless, I'm still going to try to have all the assets done for this weekend.
Yeah, it's better to be prepared.
Well, also so I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Because I have other things I need to work on.
Well, that's also something, too. If he's doing it, we got to figure out when all of us are available to...
You just got home an hour ago? Yeah, that's understandable. You said you didn't know when you're getting back, so...
So, yeah, I used to have his suit purple and the accents blue, but because I ended up realizing he's similar to DC villain in powers and all that, I reversed his color so his suit is blue with accents of purple. In other words, he seemed a little bit like Parasite. He can't absorb people's life force, but, Parasite also absorbed, like energy around him or whatever from various...
Parasite can absorb almost anything.
Yeah.
Except for, like... he can absorb, like, biomass, but he can't absorb, like, inorganic mass, I think is, like, the only thing Parasite can't do. So, like, you could throw a rock at him and you'd be fine just throwing rocks at the guy.
Yeah, but it wouldn't do much to him.
Well, it depends how big the rock is, Like, what if you threw a mountain at him?
Yeah, I guess it depends. Well, it also depends on what he's absorbed.
How fast you threw it.
Yeah, or what he's absorbed. Like if he's already absorbed, say, Superman's powers.
Yeah.
The rock ain't gonna do much. He'll be really rocking it at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah.
But, like, if he just absorbed, say... I don't know, Beast Boy's powers, and Superman skipped a stone through his head.
Yeah. But, yeah, like... So, yeah, as I was saying, I changed up the colors of his costumes, I don't know, about a year ago, or maybe a little bit longer. Just because of that,
I don't want that intro. Hello, Rick. It is I, Eagle, founder of the Detective Squad.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's because apparently this morning, Evan traded Bullet, his character, the Headless Ninja, for the Detective Squad.
Oh.
And I was pretty sure Eagle founded the Detective Squad.
Yeah, I was pretty sure about that, too.
And they're trying to say no.
Right or wrong? Okay. I'm not fully up on the Detective Squad. I just know, like, the people who are in it.
I'm not even sure if everybody that's in it, but I'm pretty sure he founded it like here on my channel.
I think at one point in time, basically everybody in it was in the Cult of Raven, but, like, almost nobody is anymore. Man, that's actually really sad walking into that Twitter DM, which I do sometimes.
Evan says, Rick, we need to have a custody battle.
Oh, dude, that'd be fun. You set up an arena. Live on your channel. I can make an overlay for it and everything.
He said live on my channel too. Evan.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's what he said. Yeah, that's why I said it.
Oh, okay. I thought that was your idea. I wasn't looking at
No,
it.
no. He had already said it by the time I repeated it.
Eagle says, I challenge all others who lay claim to the detective squad.
I have a lot of good ideas, but I'm not going to take claim on somebody else's good idea. I'm going to give credit where it's due.
Yeah, I try to do that myself.
Unless it's blame. Then I'm going to pass the blame off on Evan.
Or anybody that you think you can.
No, just Evan.
Oh, okay. And actually, the history for this character was written by my cousin.
Eagle said, just do what everyone used to do back in the day. Invite everyone back to the cult without their permission. Well, I knew what you were talking about. You didn't have to put the COR chat, but yeah. That is what they did. It is technically a rule that you're not allowed to leave the Cult of Raven.
Well, geez, I'm glad I never entered. Officially.
You have to be excommunicated, that's it. It's the only way to leave.
I guess that's the way with cults, right? Although,
yeah, it's like a religion, right? You have to be excommunicated. You can't just like. I mean, if you claim to be an apostate, that's usually just being challenged to be excommunicated, and most people are going to go with it anyway. But yeah. But then you become an enemy of the church, and I don't think anybody wants that. Except in this case, because like. There's nobody left in the cult, so like, who are you really going to be the enemy of?
Yeah. Evan says, first of all, Eagle says, Evan, are you challenging me? And then Evan says, Eagle, I will trade you the rights to Melvin #2 if you do not contest my ownership of the detective squad. You will give him the rights to your alt account here on
That's
Thing.
what I thought. Yeah.
What good is that to,
Well, you think if Evan really wants to claim the rights to the Detective Squad, he would just rename one of his alt accounts the Detective Squad and use it.
And see, all Eagle has, maybe it's not as good as, maybe it's good or not as good as Melvin #2. You know, but Eagle could just go make the alt account Melvin #3.
Yeah.
Or #4 or whatever number he chooses. He could probably even make an alt account that says Melvin #2.
Yeah, Evan says, I'm pretty sure Melvin #2 is a Shadow Pulp. He's gonna go make... Oh, I like that. Eagle's gonna make a parody of The Boys and call it The Squad.
Wouldn't a parody of The Boys be the girls?
Could be. The guys. Make a really racist Spanish parody called The Niños. El Niños.
The children?
Well, it does mean the children, but it also means the boys because it's a masculine language and you use the male by default.
Uh-huh.
So it can either be a group of children or just a group of boys. Or if you want to talk about just a group of girls, it's La Niñas.
Yeah. Actually, I think even when I think you only need...
It's Los Niños. You wouldn't use El for it because it's plural.
Actually, I think if I'm right, and I could be wrong, I'll admit it, that even if it's a group of girls, it's El Niños.
Well,
Although,
again, it's los. You wouldn't use el.
okay, los
And
niños.
it would be las niñas if it's only girls, because then you conjugate it to girls.
Yeah, but I'm just going by what I've learned. That even when say amigo, right? I know it's not quite the same, but from what I learned, even a group of girls is amigos, not amigas. It's only when you're referring to a singular girl.
Well, that would be amiga.
Yeah, amiga.
But amigas is a word. Rick, I live in Texas, and I took 4 years of Spanish in high school.
Yeah. Okay, it's weird because I could have, like I said, I could be wrong, but I'm almost positive
you can still use it. It's like using the word guys to refer to everybody.
Yeah.
But that's how conjugates work. It's how Latin works as well.
Yeah. I'm just saying, when I was learning some Spanish, well, I took a class in school, and then a couple years back when I was going to Guatemala, I started listening to some Spanish tapes, and I'm pretty sure that's what it said. I could be wrong. But,
yes, technically, you can use amigos to refer to everyone, because when you have a language like that, you use male by default. You guys sound like you need Spanish 101. I've actually taken Spanish 101.
Yeah, and I took a Spanish class in high school as well. Although I'll admit I did not do good in it, but that's because I did get behind because there was some wonky stuff that happened. Like, we were going to do some stuff, then we weren't, and then by the time we realized that we were doing it again, and I had to go do it, some lesson stuff, it's like I'm behind, and it's like I never.
There are certain words though, where the word itself is pretty much always feminine when you pluralize it, though.
Yeah, and hello, Mrs. Dillard.
But those words are words where it's non-gendered, right? So like, it's not a living thing. The word itself is just naturally gendered, either masculine or feminine.
Yeah.
Kind of like how people refer to their car as their girl.
Yeah.
And there's just a lot of words like that where it's just like, this inanimate object is naturally feminine, and this inanimate object is naturally masculine, based on how the language treats it.
Yeah. That's with a lot of the languages over in Europe. They got the masculine and feminine for almost, I think, for practically every single word. There's very few.
Oh, it's all the words that come out of the Romantic languages, so they stem from Rome. Yeah. And definitely don't punish Mrs. Dillard for that, because Eagle basically asked her to.
Mrs. Dillard, don't time him out!
She already did. Eagle needs to learn. It's a lesson. You shouldn't tempt the mods. It's like you don't tempt the gods. There's even only one letter difference there.
Okay, so, although most people know not to, I don't think Mrs. Dillard's around enough to know that.
Well, that's another reason why I told you not to punish her. If it was John, on the other hand.
Hey, Timothy.
Who I think, you're still going to wait a couple days before you give his wrench back?
Yeah, well, it's been a day. I might give it back tomorrow.
Yeah.
People might get their wrenches back tomorrow, or they might not. We got to keep them in suspense, right?
Yeah. Now, honestly, I like most of the Romantic languages more than most of the non-English Germanic languages. But that's because the Germanic ones suffer from like the exact same problem English does.
Yeah.
You don't conjugate almost anything in Germanic languages unless it's tense, but they just have way too many words for everything.
William says Mrs. Dillard still has a right check to man. And Mrs. Dillard, even if somebody asks, don't time them out unless they're actually sort of disobeying rules or whatever of the chat.
And German words are way too long. Have you ever seen like German words?
No, I don't think so. Well, I know. I think I know a couple, like Dankeschön. I think I'm probably mispronouncing.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Dankeschön is thanks. Yeah.
But just saying it, you can tell that it's going to be a long damn word.
It's like they have some short words, but like any meaningful word is like 3 to 4 syllables, and then when you start getting to words that have like really specific meanings, almost in a sentence of their own, it's like an 8-syllable word. It's like if you were to use like schizophrenic in every single sentence that you ever talked. And by comparison, that's not even a long word.
Timothy asks Mrs. Dillard how her throwing arm is, whether she's improved her aim.
Oh, with the peanut butter?
Yeah. And Timothy's wondering what's up with this guy's big package. Well, he's not as tall as the Shield, but he is 6'6". So, Rick, I think the Eagle's wrong.
The Eagle can't just jump on an alt account and then try to blame somebody for something he asked for.
Yeah, somebody who's not familiar with all the rules.
There's no evidence that he asked to be timed out. Yes, there is, because in the Restream chat, no matter what happens, even if you deleted the removed message, it's still going to show up.
My question is, can it be deleted from?
Yeah, you can delete it. Well, if he's a mod, does he have mod powers on your server?
He has some. I think he's a B-list hero. And I'm not sure what my B-list heroes can do or can't do. Yeah, he's blue, which I think means B-list.
Yeah.
Mr. Dillard says, Rick doesn't want to punish me, stop hating. Yes, I've granted her mercy for, hold on. I gotta get my... Because of Eagle's, stupidity. Yeah, you know what? I should actually create a thing that only I'm able to go in that keeps a record of all the chats.
So a third live chat channel.
No, it wouldn't even be live. I wouldn't call it live chat, and only I would see it. The only way that you can possibly know about it is the fact that I'm talking about doing it.
Why wouldn't you just use the second live chat channel that already exists, reactivate it, and then change the name and turn it to only you can see it?
Yeah. Well, because the second one is for people that aren't mods.
But does it even update anymore?
What?
I think I just have it muted. Yeah, it does. Like, I never see the dot, and then I remembered I muted it, so I didn't have two channels going off that had the exact same stuff in it.
Yeah. Timothy says, I own Melvin, and I would not trade that ever. Yeah, well, see, they're not asking you to trade Melvin, Timothy.
Evan has an account called the number 2, and he wants to trade it to you.
Or to somebody.
Yeah.
For whatever.
Yes, Evan says, Judge, I will destroy the evidence against Eagle if he agrees to never contest my ownership of the detective squad, which he refuses, but it wouldn't matter. I've already taken a screenshot of it. Because that's proof.
You gotta love the screenshots, right?
Yeah. That, you could totally trust, because it's not like I'm an expert in photo manipulation or anything like that.
Yeah. Mrs. Dillard says, he tried to sabotage me. He wanted me to be punished. Timothy's, I got your back. And Timothy says, I have no use for an alt account. So what happened to the vomitorium tonight?
Oh, marsupial happened.
Wow.
Honestly, we talked about this, like, last week, during the Saturday show, like, afterwards. Yeah. I just didn't remember to update the Discord or anything until yesterday. Or even today, I don't know. It might have been after midnight, but it was, like, sometime.
Yeah, well, I didn't look in the Discord. I didn't. It was like, okay, the vomitorium's not on.
Yeah, I put a notification. It's in there. It says, due to scheduling issues, there will be no vomitorium today. So it was after midnight. Actually, 6 in the morning. Dang, that's how late I did it. I don't even remember what time it is. After midnight, everything's just a blur until I go to sleep, because I'm just working on stuff nonstop.
Yeah. Timothy says, don't throw where they throw where they're going to be. Oh, don't throw where they are, throw where they're going to be.
Oh, he's just trying to say to lead the target. That's what he's thinking of.
Timothy says, what if Evan Hotep was really Rick Piper?
Man, if that was true, Rick, either your ventriloquism skills are really good, that you could be on a call as 2 different people at once.
Yeah.
Or you're actually secretly a genius and pre-recorded so many voice lines for possible answers, and are also a good voiceover artist anyway, because you and Evan sound nothing alike.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, with that level of talent, what are you doing?
See, the problem is for Timothy saying that, he's never been in one of the back rooms where we're both there, both talking.
Because Evan's hardly ever been on stream. He kind of avoids it like the plague. Like he'll hop in during the pre-stream and post-stream stuff, but as soon as he finds out you're going live, he's like out of there. You kind of have to invite him to a call and not let him know that you're already on stream.
Well, Mallet's here trying to cause problems. Because he says, Mrs. Dillard, did you ask Rick about your rank?
I mean, it was a fairly low one, wasn't it?
Yeah, she was like 8 or 9.
Yeah, if you ain't first, you're last.
Good Timothy says, back rooms, like off air?
The green room.
Yeah. Or when people just hang out off air, they don't even go on air, they just hang out off air. Timothy says, I don't want to know what you do in these back rooms. Most of them just talk and stuff like that. Do artwork. Like, where are you peddling your smack? I'm on to your shady business. Okay, I gotta.
So definitely not Eagle says that Evan sounds like me, which I don't agree with, and I don't think Evan does either, which is why he replied, Judge, don't be difficult.
Now, do I have any of my stuff for?
Oh, actually, I just remembered something. Unless you use some type of text-to-speech, they wouldn't be able to argue over the rights on stream, because Eagle's mic doesn't work.
Yeah. We buy him a new mic, a new cheap mic.
Yeah, we buy him a new mic just so they could argue about the Detective Squad. It would be content, but would it be worth it?
Hey, well, how much?
Maybe it'd be a long-term investment. He can actually talk during the movie nights.
Yeah, or other stuff.
Yeah.
I only spent like I spent less than 100 on mine. I think I spent less than 50, and that's Canadian. Mrs.
Okay.
Dillard's what rank? Oh, Evan got me to rank a bunch of my viewers.
Oh,
or subscribe.
Okay.
Yeah, well, Evan the second time. Based on, I think it was Mallet's idea to begin with, and then Eagle redeemed points for me to do it, and I only did like 5 people because of that's what Eagle wanted me to do. And then Evan said to do, technically he said to do all, but when I got around to like 75, he said, can we like cut this short? And he said, okay, let's take out all the alt accounts as well. Well, with the alt accounts, it would have been higher too, so, for the numbers.
Evan says he was number 5.
Yeah, he was. Timothy says he was number 33.
Or was it 31? I don't know. I didn't remember literally anyone past me. So I know the first 3 ranks, and that's it.
Yeah, somebody was happy to get number 3, weren't you?
I was just happy that I didn't have to pay attention to that far down into the list.
Yeah. Raggedy
When you
says
just
those ranks were rigged. He got number 7, I believe.
I like how Eagle is relaying messages from himself as if we don't know that Judge the Question, definitely not Eagle, is him.
Timothy says, like, you were like, I don't give a crap about anybody else's rank.
I barely even gave about mine. I probably would have stopped paying attention if I was in the top 5. It's like, it's too much load for memory.
Raggedy, no timing out. Judge the Question. Otherwise, we'll have to take your wrench. You've been warned.
I'm going to take my own wrench from myself and give it back to myself.
Okay, trying to find where I did.
Raggedy is writing a winning radio play. He doesn't have time for timeouts.
Clip Studio. I'll open that with Clip Studio just to show people the old. They do not open.
Mrs. Dillard asks, and mine.
What? You want to know what your rank was?
I'm assuming what that's referring to. You should just have it in a spreadsheet so you can just like grab the end and move somebody. Like, yep, you know what? You're going down a rank.
Hold on a sec. So she was number 9. 9. Followed by Skunk Girl at number 8. Raggedy at number 7. Eagle at number 6. Evan at number 5. Who was 4? Pope Raven was number 4. Metal 3. John 2. And my mom 1. More than one way.
I'm surprised that Skunk Girl didn't get higher. You actually get money from them, right?
Yeah, that was a big one for me, which was where to put her. The only reason she probably didn't get higher is she's not as around on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. But also directly supports the channel.
Yeah. So that's why she did score higher than Mr. Stiller.
No, I'm just wondering why she didn't score higher than Evan. That's my real question.
Well, because Evan is around here a lot, and also, has helped me out tech wise a little bit, or a lot. So he may not support it monetarily every month, but he's supported in other ways that are probably just as important. Okay. Mount says, how much art to buy is I buy for John? How many subs? I'm not sure what you mean by how many subs. So there is his old thing.
Rick Eagle says he shouldn't be ranked so high.
Evan's saying night, folks.
Yeah. Oh. Night,
Okay.
Evan.
Alright, night. Ooh. And this is his
I think
new.
Eagle's rank is purely just from me arguing because he's here all the time.
Yeah. I must admit that played factored a lot into my decision making.
I made a castle last night.
Okay.
For the game we're going to play. Just to clarify, I didn't go outside in the backyard and build a castle, though that would have been fun. Just don't have the materials for that. How much do you think it'll cost for me to get materials to make a small castle out of stone in the backyard?
How small?
Let's say like 20 feet by 20 feet by like, I don't know, 16 feet high.
Probably a couple $100, I'd say at least. I'm not sure how much.
That sounds like a low ball, honestly.
Yeah. Well, see, I'm not sure how much. What's the name of it goes for? Bricks.
Stone. Stone and mortar.
Okay, so.
Eagle says we should play a game of Shadowrun. I mean, after we either finish or get tired of the game that I'm playing, somebody else could always come in and we could play a different game. If anybody else wants to DM it, I could always learn to DM a different one. I'm pretty good at playing things with complicated rule sets, but I don't want to have to be the only one who DMs, but at the same time, I prefer to be like the game master or dungeon master than as a player.
Timothy's saying make your own bricks out of mud. Just bake them in the sun.
I mean, I do know how to make bricks. It's still it'd be a lot of material. I don't, because basically to get enough, I'd have to unload the entire yard for quite a way down, which means I would lose the foundation I want for my castle. Well, I mean, technically water's already being imported into where I live anyway because, running water. But that's going to be a lot of water.
Well,
It'll take a long time to do this because only the bricks have to dry directly to the sun. So I only have so many hours a day to dry bricks and only so much surface area to put bricks down to dry.
Yeah.
And they're going to be terracotta, right? They're not going to be as sturdy as stone bricks.
Either that or you can buy concrete, build base walls, and just fill in the thing with pure concrete.
Well, I'd be better off just at this point making bricks out of concrete if I'm going to be making concrete anyway.
Yeah.
Creating wooden molds, putting the bricks down, letting them dry.
Yeah. Okay. Then, yeah. Well, I was just thinking it would take. I was just thinking it would take might take a little less time. You have the walls already formed. You just pour it all in and let it dry. However long it would take, which would probably be 2 or 3 days, or maybe a week, or more. Already in position. That way you don't have to put the bricks on top of each other and put the stuff in between them to stick them together and all that.
Oh, good. Shadowrun uses GM as well. See, I actually prefer the word GM, Game Master, because it broadly applies to like any tabletop game. Very few, like Dungeons and Dragons, use DM or Dungeon Master. And specifically, it makes sense why it comes from Dungeons and Dragons. You're playing in dungeons. But it's the word everybody knows. So even if you're not talking about Dungeons and Dragons specifically, if you don't say DM, a lot of people don't know what you're talking about. If you just say GM as an acronym.
General Manager?
Yeah, that's what some people think of. Or maybe even the company General Motors.
Yeah, I was just about to say General Motors.
Yeah, technically only D&D. Well, I think Pathfinder early on was still using DM just because it literally came from people who were tired with the way D&D was going. But I think they've switched to GM since then.
So what does GM stand for if not General Motors?
Game.
Oh, Game Master.
Yeah.
Should have got that.
Yeah. And especially as a fan of Captain N, of course I would prefer the term Game Master. Ooh. I was going to wear a cloak. But for the joke, I should just wear my Captain N jacket when I'm being a GM.
Or Timothy says, or MOP. Master of Puppets?
Master of Puppets. I guess it would also be the Master of Players. Master of Principles.
Are you principled enough to play this game?
Yeah, I'm familiar with Stephen Lynch.
One that I think might be neat to play on this one is either, well, 2 or 3. I think Marvel has a thing like that. Maybe the Marvel one, or DC if they have one, and then I think there's one just for superhero stuff not having to deal with Marvel or DC as well. From what I heard, they might be neat to play.
Oh, I have not heard Lynch's D&D song. I'll have to go listen to that afterwards. Yeah, I mean, especially with those type of rule sets, it would probably be too long for me to learn every single one of them, and I'm fine with not being the GM in every game. Like I would be a player.
Yeah.
I'm just really used to being the game master, and because of that, I also get pretty critical of other people when they're the game master.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether anybody's done those ones. Timothy says, I used to play the Marvel RPG. He was always Wolverine. Well, there's the thing with the Marvel and DC one. Do you have to be one of their characters, or can you make up a new character for it? Well, not that you would know, but I guess Timothy could answer that question since he used to play. Because I'm not sure whether you know that. The answer to
I haven't played any of those. You could do both. You just said.
Uh-huh.
I'm assuming they have some like mini games, right? If you play D&D like a module, like say your beginner's dungeon and stuff like that, they have pre-established characters that you play. You just pick up a character sheet, or you can just make your own. DC's rule set is based off of Mutants Masterminds. I know that one. Okay, that's not that hard to pick up. Like, well, it's not that hard for a player to pick up. It's pretty hard for a GM to learn. Also, Rick, if you ever want to try to be a GM, I can help you, even if I'm going to be a player.
Yeah, I think my biggest problem would be setting up everything beforehand, all the assets. No, if I had that all maybe mapped out ahead of time for me.
Yeah, like even if I knew the roadmap, I could still play as an effective player without spoiling the game for the other people. Because as a game master, I've had to do runs where I've had an NPC player that I've been playing alongside with the people as a guide, and I don't take over the campaign. I kind of just let them sit back. I'll give them some type of personality where they're like aloof, so they can't be the person solving the problem.
Yeah, Timothy says Marvel and DC had very basic RPGs. Raggedy says Heroes Unlimited is another good superhero RPG.
Yeah, I've heard of. I'm unfamiliar with the rule set, so I don't know if it's good, but if he says so, I take his word on it. Raggedy seems to know these things. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard about them. Yeah, I heard about those around the time we were doing John's, and I thought it'd be neat to do those one day. The superhero ones. And, another good one maybe would be Robotech.
Yeah. Especially if we do it digital. Oh, man. Some of these games I would love to play, but the physical part of it, what you have to buy to get the full enjoyment. Like, I've played Warhammer with scraps of paper before, but it's just not the same. But if we play it digitally, all the tokens are already available for you, and we could just get the full enjoyment out of a game.
Well, that's possible, too.
Yeah. And a lot of these games that we're talking about, the site that I hooked you up with, is Roll20, has rule sets for all this and character sheets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Where it just makes it easy to get into it.
Bullet's here saying Sage-wise. Bullet says, I hear you wanted to GM a Shadowrun game, and then Bullet laughs. And he says, "You heard wrong, chummer." And who knows, with the different types of RPGs, maybe different people would want to get involved.
Yeah.
It might be
Well, I'm also
amazing.
building my own, right? So I would love to get more experience because I've probably only played a handful of different rule sets in my life, and most of the time it's been like D&D. A couple different rule sets of D&D, but most of the time it's been D&D. And I just want more experience with different rule sets so I can make my RPG better.
Yeah.
The things that I like. So that's like, I would love to get on more if we can do some streams and stuff, maybe play some campaigns. And then I can perfect my system.
Yeah. Timothy says, a long time ago, someone on the net made up a Transformers role-playing game. That'd be neat. Raggedy said something about he had already dug out his old character for something. Timothy says, count me in, Rick. I would love to play an RPG. Well, Timothy, do you want to play Final Fantasy?
Yeah, you could. I mean, like I said, the team can be up to 6 people if we want to keep it balanced. We could technically go more than that too. It just means I have to start like adding more to the mobs without really considering what that does for the balance. So some mods might be too easy just because I didn't add enough, and some might be too hard just because adding that one thing outbalances it.
Yeah. Well, he's just saying he'd love to play, so I thought we were still.
Yeah, no, totally. You still have room for another person.
Well, if you have contact with Metal, contact Metal,
Yeah,
and he will set you up in creating your character.
Yeah, it's Roll20.
We're gonna be doing it live here on the channel, so everybody can listen to us argue about what to do and have fun laughing at us as we argue.
Yeah, Roll20 is a website, roll20.net. And you can basically, it's like the map site, right? So you can move characters across a map like tokens. I can set all my maps up there. It also has a dice and logger in the chat, so everybody can roll their die digitally. You don't have to do it that way. If using a webcam, as long as I can see your rolls, I will let you roll in person. But otherwise, like say Rick, who doesn't have die or any dice whatsoever, right?
Although I could probably go buy cheap dice.
You could.
It's just as easy to use.
You could buy a mixed pack at your local comic book store or like a Barnes and Noble.
Well, we got a couple of shops downtown that would have stuff like that. That's not even comic books, but
yeah, but almost every comic book store has them now because that's how you need to make money with how little comics sell.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying it'd take less distance to go to my downtown area. Get it?
Yes, you would have to make an account, but it's entirely free.
Yeah.
There are premium services to it, but even as a player, it's entirely free.
Raggedy says, digital dice? What witchcraft is this?
No, it's really cool. There's actually like you can just put in the chat log if you want to do it quickly without any problems.
Yeah.
But if you want like the aesthetic, there's a 3D cup that rolls 3D dice onto the screen,
and
you can actually see it roll and stuff. It's pretty cool.
Eagle saying contact Metal. What did you want to play Eagle too, or?
Yeah, Eagle could. Well, we did talk about this too, you and me.
Yeah.
It's the microphone thing might be a problem, right? Because if we're going to be streaming this and we only have, like, say, 2 hours for a session before people peter out, having somebody who is just chatting in the side log could slow things down. Now, if it's only one person, that wouldn't be that bad. So we could still consider having Eagle play, but it would slow things down. Unless you find some way to get on mic for the session.
Yeah. Timothy said, or Judge said, Timothy, be a thief that hoards items and sells them to your teammates for high prices during their time of need.
Here, I'll send him the both links because I have a active chat with him for roll20.net. Which that one, I mean, I really don't need to send the link. It's straightforward. Just type that in. It's the number 20, but I'll send it anyway. Where's the last time which I'll send that one first, and then if you do want to play after you have an account, I can send you the direct link, and it'll add you to the game like I did with Rick. And then the other link is ffrpg.net. So before you make any commitments, you can look at the rule set and see if you like anything about it. It's based off of the Final Fantasy video games, like the entire franchise, up to 12.
Timothy,
updated since 12.
Timothy says, maybe, Judge, maybe. And the Judge says, the only true teammates is gold and silver.
Thief is an available class.
It's an available class?
Yeah, you can play as Thief. Or they call them jobs because it's Final Fantasy system, but in the classes. It's an expert job. So the thing about this game is certain jobs do not excel in combat so much in any way. They have some things, like I think Thief has like a shackle move and stuff like that, where he can lower movement speed or everything. But specifically, the Thief, being an expert, has an expertise formula, which tells them how many expertise points they have, and they can use their expertise out of combat and stuff, you know.
Okay, Judge says, I'm 2 minutes behind. What about me playing? Well, hopefully if you're 2 minutes behind, at this point you've heard everything that...
Oh yeah, he'll eventually catch up.
But if you want to, you can contact and we can see if we can work something out if you want to. You don't have to if you don't want to.
Yeah. Because we're trying to make this a smooth process.
Well, the thing is, if he has the Discord open and say types just in there for that, I can have that up on, my laptop so I can read it all the time. Open.
Well, he wouldn't even have to type in the Discord. There's a chat in Roll20, right next to where all the dice is logged. It's the same chat. Everybody can chat right there in the Roll20 thing.
Yeah.
And this would also be less of a problem, too, if, for some reason, the text-to-speech in Discord doesn't work for Eagle. Isn't that kind of weird? Like, every time he types it actually has the /TTS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bullet saying, what's a DM? Dungeon Master. Timothy says, okay, I am there. I was going to say, Timothy, what would be a good time for you to meet up with Metal off screen to, get your character off?
Well, that's what I was about to say, too. We're trying to make this very streamlined, right? We're trying to make sure that the pace keeps up. So that if anything does take too long, it's because you guys are arguing and being indecisive, not because, there are snags in the gameplay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say that DM does... Dungeon Master still sounds pretty S&M.
Okay.
Let me bring it down to my dungeon. Saturday or Sunday? Probably preferably Saturday, which is also when I might do it for Evan. But if we don't end up playing this week anyway, Sunday would still be fine.
Yeah, it sounds like at this point we won't be starting playing till next week. And there's the thing is we got
time to get ahead.
We've got to also decide between. Well, I'm free pretty much Saturday or Sunday anytime. We prefer in the afternoon.
Yeah.
To play.
I have a specific preference for Sunday for gameplay. specifically because of the vomitorium, but I've already said that I'm willing to move the vomitorium
Yeah.
on the weekend if it just happens to be the time that's best for everybody.
And Saturday, it's just best, say, after 2 for me. Between
Well, I think
2.
even Sunday it would be close to the same time because it'd be, giving you time to get home from church and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying 2 my time.
Yeah.
I'm home by 1, unless something
Yeah.
special is coming up, and I'm not sure what, but I would know that, and I could tell in advance. Yeah, I'm gonna be a bit late.
Can I play as a dwarf shaman in D&D? Well, in D&D you can totally play as a dwarf shaman. Not in the game we're playing though, because shaman is not an available class.
Is there something like shaman?
Probably. Because as far as I'm aware, it's been a while since I've looked at it. Shaman most of the time is kind of like a cleric variant. Right? It's got a lot of the similar things, but it's its own thing. It's a bit more offensive.
Yeah.
It's probably actually closer to a druid than a cleric, but even then, it's all like the support magic class.
Yeah, I was thinking almost wizard-like or whatever too. It's a shaman usually do the wizard stuff in the thing.
Yeah. Well, they're medicine men, right?
Yeah.
That's what a shaman's supposed to be.
So a healer.
Yeah. I mean, you could always, the best part about role-playing is if you see a class that can do the things you want it to do, you can always just be like, I'm playing a white mage, but thematically, my character's a shaman. You can always make your character thematically whatever you want, as long as it doesn't feel like it's breaking the world.
Yeah. And he said Saturday, so it's just about what?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Just hit me up with the time and stuff. We could hook it up. Right.
So there we go. We got another player.
Mm-hmm. And you don't have to know exactly what you're going to do before we make your character, but just browse the site, look at some things, get an idea.
Well, unfortunately, yeah, I didn't even browse it.
Yeah, I think like your first time actually looking at it was probably when we were doing it.
Yeah. I took a few of your suggestions, and
Can I play a burnt out wizard dwarf who can barely use any magic? Yeah, you totally could. That's a thing. Especially because you kind of pick how much MP you have by where you put your stats. So you could totally just like play a black mage who's a dwarf, which was a dwarf anyway, based on the design's philosophy of Final Fantasy, and just like completely neuter your spirit stat. So your magic can still be strong since it scales off your magic stat, but your spirit stat is what's going to influence healing ability that you're not going to use as a black mage, and also how much MP you have. So you could have like no MP, and no matter how high you level until you start hitting the cap, you're just not going to have enough MP to like bombard people with spells.
or the spells not work very well. Instead of getting full health, you get like a quarter health.
Well, he'd be a wizard, so he's not going to be healing anyway, right? It's all offensive.
Oh, okay, well, I'm just using, I guess, that as an example.
So, like, if his magic stat's still high, he would still do a lot of damage, but he just doesn't have enough magic points to do magic.
Yeah. The character I created, he can't kill anybody, and he can't do a surprise attack on anybody.
Yeah, well, not even just a surprise attack. You can't attack anybody who is basically unaware or in a position that they can't fight back. So you can't attack like sleeping opponents, immobilized opponents. Well, I don't think anybody can attack a petrified opponent because they're turned to stone at that point. But like anybody who can't fight back, your character is not allowed to attack because of your code of honor. You will not attack an opponent who is not fighting fair or like eligible to a fair fight. Ooh, that would be interesting. What about a thief who needs to be drunk to steal? That would almost be like a code of honor type thing, right?
Yeah.
Like he won't do it, but if he gets drunk, his morals get thrown aside and he just starts stealing things.
Or I was gonna say kleptomaniac thief who doesn't fight combustion, who doesn't fight compulsion.
Compulsion is one of the backstory things you can get to.
So he normally doesn't steal. It's only when he's compelled, has a compulsion to take something.
My favorite thief is the Thief from 8-Bit Theater. Did you read any of that?
I haven't read it, but I watched. I've watched a few of their.
We watched 5 videos and stuff together.
Yeah, I gotta circuit back to reading My Hero Academia and that.
You can technically lower your accuracy. So accuracy, actually, I have it up. Formula for accuracy, real quick. Just have the site in front of me. Basically, there are 6 attributes that you put your points into, and those determine your stats.
Let's see. Eagle seems to be doing another Evan.
That's fine, I'm engaged in it, so I can
yeah.
I can enjoy talking back. Where is combat statistics? Accuracy is determined. Oh yeah, that's accuracy is determined by called your job benefit, right? Which comes down to your level plus your agility times 2 plus the bonus that you get from your weapon plus your job's weapon skill. It's a complicated system. There's a lot to set up ahead of time, but once you get into the game, all of the difficult part is on my end as the game master, and it becomes pretty easy for the players. It's very beginner friendly after initial setup, but it is not friendly to like lazy DMs, and I like games like that discourage it or lazy GMs. I can't stand lazy GMs.
Okay, so I think we got all the base colors now. I need to do some
It is so inaccurate that I might hit teammates with my magic. Ooh, well, I mean, you could also flub. There's that.
Rick. Judge says, Rick, I want to make this the most difficult quest ever. Oh, so you want all your teammates hating on you?
He said we should strive to make it almost impossible to complete every mission, even if it's easy. Oh, okay. I'm not making this easy. I'm not making it hard either. It's going to be about the difficulty of playing a Final Fantasy game. And I even told Rick, I'm pretty much not going to railroad you guys. Like, you'll be on rails 5 to 10 minutes where I give you the introduction and you talk to the king and he gives you equipment. And then after you get your quest from the king, you're basically on your own when it comes to discovery. Like, obviously, I'm there. I'm managing the game. I'm giving you information if you require it from people. but you're going to be responsible for grinding and getting experience and figuring out where to go and everything like that.
Yeah.
I'm also putting like a lot of side quests and stuff in there too. So if you get distracted, that's your own fault.
Yeah. I know for my character, I've got a flying mount right from the beginning. That can attack.
No gold.
Pardon?
I said you got a lot of good stuff, but that also means you get no gold
or very little.
Yeah, like you're going to be poor throughout most of the game, and you're going to be like reliant on finding things or saving up for a really long time.
Yeah.
Or maybe one of your teammates being merciful on you, be like, "Here, Rick, I'm going to buy this for you."
Sounds like real life.
Yeah. Don't count on Dillard. He also has gold sync. Just not as bad as you do.
Yeah, but I think I make up for it in other areas easy. Because my strength, I don't think my strength isn't as good as John's at first, but somehow I think
Timothy Dillard is in it. He's playing a Hume, which is just a human monk.
Timothy says, I think I might steal from him. Yes, there's me, Marsupial, Dillard, who else? Possibly Evan?
Possibly Evan. And good luck stealing from Dillard. He's got he has both combat reflexes and a pretty high awareness.
Yeah, same with mine. I think I'm got pretty much. I think me and John make close to almost the same type of character.
Yeah, you pick a lot of similar things, except you are actually more like cavalry because you are a dragoon, which is what you call cavalry, and you actually have a mount too. So
yeah.
Yeah, Rick's character is pretty heavily front loaded. That he's going to be good at the start of the game, but at the same time, his income is greatly decreased. The entire game.
I think I get 25% less gold than everybody else.
Yeah. You only get 75% of income after this point. So that means if you were to get 100 gold from killing a mob, that's only actually 75 for you. And that's the thing about bringing Timothy along. Like I said, I have it kind of balanced to 4 to 6 people. So he's still in it. But that also means you have to do slightly more grinding because mob rewards are split against everybody who participates in battle. So if you guys kill a mob that's got 4 things in it, the experience of that total mob gets split between all of you. I also want a spell that makes my team entirely drunk. I don't know if you can do that. I mean, obviously there's not a combat spell, but mage jobs have what they call improvising magic. And you could do some wild things if it falls within the keywords of your improv magic, but I don't know if that falls under any of those. Or intuitive magic is the other word for it. Let's see, elemental manipulation? No, that wouldn't do it.
Timothy says, so I am in, but I don't get as much. You don't get as much what? And he totally wants to be a thief now. Just because he wants to try and steal from Dillard.
No, it's not that you don't get as much. everybody gets less for you being in there because it gets evenly distributed against the party, right? So if there was only 4 of them, and let's say a mob dropped 400 gold, then each one of them would get 100 before, say, Dillard and Rick's gold sink.
Yeah,
which Rick would only get 75 from that. But now if there's 405 people in it, well, then you have to divide 400 by 5, and everybody only gets 80 before people's gold sinks are involved.
and with 80, then you take off 25%, so there'd be 20. I would only be getting 60 of that.
Yeah, you only get 60.
Okay, so but does that 25 go to that extra 20? Does that go to anybody else?
No, it's gold sink. So by lore, it's that you're bad with money and you mishandle it or whatever. So that just disappears. That's lost gold.
Oh, okay.
And that's the cost of the advantages that you picked.
Uh-huh.
Would you get more if the groups got split up? Yes. Because, again, it's only those who participate in the battle. So if, like, say there were 3 of you one place and 2 of the other, and you still got into a mob separately, the 3 would be splitting whatever they got 3-way, the 2 would be splitting whatever they got 2-way. It says, Metal, Eagle says, tell me the spells that will harm and ruin my team's chances of success. Who?
You do realize if you do that, we will start to leave you in the dust.
Yeah, they might not, like, revive you if you die in battle. And you'll just have to, like... I mean, technically, by lore, they would still be, like, dragging your body along, but you'd be, like, out of it until they decide to... See, tents don't revive people. Cottages, I think, do. But basically, until they got back to town, you would just be unconscious. And they might leave you unconscious for their own sake. But technically, black mages and black collars have destruction intuitive magic, so it wouldn't matter what their actual spells are, you could just do dumb stuff. It could also be a blue mage, because the way a blue mage works is that they start out with a monster spell, but they learn monster spells, like abilities that monsters can use.
Also,
and
I think my character can actually float too.
Your character can float, yes. Not high. Your floating is basically 5 feet above the ground.
Yeah.
That's what float.
Can I with the floating?
Now you can't fly on your mount because your mount is a flying mount.
So if I fell off my horse or my mount, since it's not a horse,
chocobo?
Yeah,
it's a chocobo.
Yeah, I wouldn't die. I just float.
If you have auto float on, you can't take fall damage.
And I think I got a lot of speed on my character too.
Looking at my abilities, I think my focus would be to level up. I think everybody's focus is to level up. I'm just talking about gold because gold and experience are directly proportionate to each other in monster creation, right? So when I'm making the mobs and I'm balancing them, I'm using the booklet's creation method for creating monsters. If gold is better on a monster, experience will also be better proportionately. Because there's fixed rates for like what things are worth. Yeah.
Judge is saying, where can I look up the things, the abilities?
Here, I'll drop it in here, I think, because it should still be on my clipboard. Yes. This is ffrpg.net. I'm just going to put it right in the chat. And this is the rule set we're using. Yeah, he's like, he knows some really good skills in the higher levels. That's like that. It'll take longer to get there though, because obviously the higher level you get, the more experience it takes to level up. But also, if you're fighting higher monsters, you'll get more experience. You just have to progress to the areas where the higher monsters are. But it's easier to get better equipment faster than it is to level up.
Yeah. And heck, my chocobo can attack too, so that's gonna
Yeah,
be.
yeah. Your chocobo is going to, without equipment, pretty much outscale anybody on your team without equipment. With equipment, it will get outscaled pretty hard. But like, it's going to be a tanky beast.
Yeah, by the time we're both, as I level up, me and my beast will become beastly.
But any magic user is going to outdamage literally anybody else on the team. Eventually, like their damage is bad at the beginning, but that's the way the game is like designed.
Yeah.
That if you're a magic user, you just kind of like bump ahead of everybody by the end game. This isn't my rule set. Rick noticed that too.
Well,
It's just whatever the bias of whoever wrote this was. Because he says, like, I noticed reading this, you put her and she a lot. Why didn't you give a gender to the class of character disguise? Don't you?
yeah, I noticed whoever wrote it did that. I wasn't trying to attribute it to you.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, he asked me specifically. Not, I know you didn't. I noticed that too when I was reading it. I'm not part of the team that made this. I just I've been reading the system. I like the way the system works, and I've been running a lot of scenarios. I think it's a very solid one. He's like, what's a blue mage? Blue mages were originally in Final Fantasy V, and they've showed up a few times. And as I was explaining before, they learn monsters' abilities as spells, or monster spells. And basically, a blue mage is dedicated or like predicated on the fact that the GM thought about blue mages and put monsters with those abilities in their way so they can learn the spells. Or also made those spells purchasable by like a trainer or something like that, which I have thought about that. But they're a different type of mage. They're more like a warrior. So it's kind of like a red mage that uses heavier weaponry and only uses the spells that monsters use.
I hate this. I wouldn't.
He says these spells are Kingdom Hearts spells. No, Kingdom Hearts spells are just Final Fantasy spells. They came from there first.
Will you name your will you name your chocobo Birdie Cougar? No,
No, you named.
I named my chocobo Blackout. It's a black chocobo, so
Because it can fly, yeah. Yeah, yeah, you even see the Final Fantasy characters show up in Kingdom Hearts. That's like heavily influenced. It's basically just crossing Final Fantasy with Disney. That's all Kingdom Hearts is.
is there a way to grab a color, auto select a color? Oh, one color, because I accidentally.
What did you do?
I accidentally put my darks on my reference layer.
Oh, that's not good. Well, if you select your dark colors, you can always just color back over them. Or, if you want to retain them first, just select all your dark colors, refill the color on the new layer, and then color back over them.
I was just gonna, if I can select it all in one swoop, I'd like to try and do.
Just add to selection.
Yeah, but I mean without adding to selection, like say this blue here, just select all wherever that blue is. Select all that blue.
Is there a continuous option on your selector? Because then if you turn continuous off, then that should select all the same color at the same time.
Okay.
At least that's how it works in Photoshop. I don't know what the same name is in Clip Studio.
Yes.
Can I sleep on my teammates?
No,
I don't know what you mean by that.
you will not be sleeping on me.
I mean, if you
If
guys are
you
all sleeping in the same cramped tent, I can't make any promises, but
if you try and sleep on me, I'll get my chocobo to attack you. If
it says Kingdom
he's
Hearts is better than Final Fantasy. No. Well, it's better than some Final Fantasies. Not all Final Fantasies are equal. Yeah. It's definitely better than Final Fantasy 13, I'll tell you that.
new selection, add to selection, remove from selection, select from selection.
Select from selection. I don't know, man. I don't know.
All layers, selected layer, layer and folder. Jed, Jed says I will name my character Drac.
A former associate looking for a new beginning.
Well, my character, if he tries
Oh,
to
okay. I know what
shake
he's
me.
doing now. I know what he's talking about now.
Auto select.
Ooh, that would be funny too, because I think there's a trait for that, right? There's some things that aren't on the site, right? Which like the appendixes, as we went over, they're only in the PDF, but you can access the PDF from like the page that says FFRPG 3E, and there's a trait section in one of the appendixes, and I believe being mute is one of them, right?
Yeah, I think I saw that.
But here's the thing: silence means you can't cast magic, right? It'd be funny if the one person in the party who can't talk on mic was mute. But it would really suck if he was a magic user because, again, being silent means you can't cast magic.
A mute midget.
Mute magician.
Yeah.
You will turn into a werewolf during the full moon. You could just be a wolf man all the time. There's a race called the Varg, which are basically just like werewolves, but, you know, sentient, not rabid, can talk to people. And they never turn back into people. Which is actually what a werewolf is. Mythologically speaking, werewolves are not people that turned in to wolf-like people. It's a man-wolf. They're always man-wolves. People often somehow lichens, lycanthropy, has surmounted the myth of the werewolf. I don't know when that happened. You could probably find it by going back and like finding like when the crossover happened, but it had to be something in like the 13th century or whatever.
Judge says I have reading snakes. Who
He has
reads
a
my
reading.
stuff?
No, I think the werewolf thing predates horror movies, but it's It's not traditionally where it was. There's probably horror novels, if anything. Might have been later. It could have been like 15th century. And even then, only elite people would have been reading those back then. Yeah.
Okay. He
But
said,
yeah, like...
I was just going to read Timothy's comment about him, meaning that the idea of changing from man to wolf,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
things came from movies.
But yeah, mythologically speaking, lycanthropy is the disease of turning from a person into a wolf creature. And a werewolf is something that's always a man-wolf. Because that's what the were part of werewolf means, is man. Bullet says we watched Friday the 13th, 5 and 6 tonight, and we're working through the entire series. My condolences. That's right. I'm working on maps and getting ahead in the story. That's what I'm doing. While also interacting with the chat. Dates back to Indo-European folklore. Well, I know both lycanthropy and werewolves date back into Indo-European folklore. I'm wondering when the crossover happened, when they became the same thing. Because that's a more recent phenomenon. Because if you read some really old stuff, at one point the werewolf was just a creature on its own that had nothing to do with people. Yeah, medieval Europe is what I mean by recent. Which, I mean, compared to myths, medieval Europe is really recent. Because some of these things go back thousands of years. Would a knife be an ideal weapon for a thief? Timothy asks. And Bullet says, as an elven archer who was once king, maybe. Typically, thieves in these type of games do often use knives. Though in the original Final Fantasy, thieves also used swords to some degree. Just they didn't have access to every sword. I don't even think they could use the sword at the beginning of the game. I think you had to use the knife. But dagger, knives are in Final Fantasy. They're the same category. Yeah, it's not till later. And then the ninja, I think, has access to every weapon once the thief in the original becomes the ninja. As opposed to the fighter who has access to every armor. Like, they were opposites in that way. When the fighter became the knight. Because in the original Final Fantasy, there's a part where you meet the Bahamut, and you get give him the rat's tail, and then you upgrade. And any of the 6 classes becomes the upgraded version of their class, like a prestige class. And so originally the knight wasn't even its own class, it was just an upgraded version of the fighter. thief should wield a bow. Can the thief wield the bow in this game? Let me look. I was just on that page before. Go back to expert jobs. We go to thief. The thief can use boomerangs, light swords, knives, ninja blades, and swallows.
The boomerang. Anybody? Hello, I'm Captain Boomerang.
Yes, the blue mage steals magic. Well, I guess you say steal. The enemy doesn't lose it, but you're probably going to kill them anyway. But yeah, effectively, he takes abilities from monsters that have them. He's going to go with that. Okay. There is a list of what magics are actually blue magic, so it's not every ability I give a monster. But I am making sure to give monsters blue magic so that if anybody decided to play a blue mage, they would be able to get the abilities they need.
Timothy says, what about a brawler? Because you can steal something while you beat them up.
Well, so technically... Oh, the bullet says I thought Rick was laughing at swallows. Not boomerang. But technically you could be a thief that's a brawler. But the problem is... you can pick up brawling as a skill, I believe. But being barehanded will never be as good as having a weapon, especially because unlike the monk, you don't get any other boost to it. So it's like basically rolling a d6 all the time when you could be rolling, I think it's like your strength stat plus your d6, when you could be rolling weapons later that are like 8 times your strength stat plus a d20 or something like that.
Timothy says, don't piss him off, you'll throw a boomerang at me. Yeah, well, you do that boomerang's coming at me, I'll get my flying chocobo to attack you. Chocobo to attack you.
Were you about to call it a kookaburra?
I don't know what I was about to call it.
I mean, you're Australian, you don't need to call it a kookaburra, but yeah, it's a chocobo.
And my chocobo is almost as powerful as me.
Kookaburra sits in the gum tray, eating all the gumdrops he can say.
You're slaying Cocoa Bird.
Yeah, when reaching for a man with a blade, you get the tip more often than the handle. That is true.
So, he says, so it's weak.
Yeah, it is pretty weak to go. If you're not a monk, it's weak to go barehanded. Monks get a brawling bonus, though.
No, I think he meant my chocobo.
Oh, your chocobo? Right now, yeah, it's kind of weak.
Right now, not since Timothy and it's just me, Marsupial, and Dillard that have set up our characters. I'm the second strongest, right?
Physically, I think so. I could double check.
Yeah. And then I think my chocobo is even stronger than Marsupial's character.
I don't know about that. I'll check afterwards. We'll compare. But he's, stronger is maybe in one regard. Marsupial could probably kill it, though. He's a mage. If he like sets it on fire, his magic is pretty high.
Oh, okay.
You're only comparing strength in one way, but power is a different thing in this world.
Yeah.
See, your current strength is 10, if we're going just what your strength stat is. And Dillard's is 11, so yeah, he's stronger than you.
And I think my chocobo is like a 9.
Yeah, let me look. Animal companion. Yeah, it's a strength of a 9. Which means physically, and you would expect an 8-foot bird to be this case, he is stronger than the 3-foot Moogle who has a strength of 5. But also a magic of 10. He made sure he loaded his magic up. So having a magic of 10. What's the spell that he knows? He knows fire, I believe. Job abilities. Yeah, he knows fire, which is 40, because it's 4 times his magic stat, plus a d8.
Yeah.
So that could be up to 48 damage right at the top.
Yeah, my chocobo is, I think my chocobo is 30. So I forget what my HP for my chocobo is offhand.
Well, I have it in front of me. It's 36.
No.
Yeah, so but it has a magic armor of 1 because you decided it should have no magic. So yeah, if he set your chocobo on fire, that would be a 1-shot, even without rolling the die.
Yeah.
Assuming he hits, there is a chance he may not. But your magic evasion is also 1, so unless the roll is really in the chocobo's favor and against marsupials, he would just 1-shot it. The thing is, marsupial setting you guys on fire could almost. I think he can 1-shot you if he gets the top roll. You look.
Yeah, I think. Well,
43. You've got 43, but we're also taking your magic armor into account,
which is 1.
So your personal magic armor? No, it's 4.
Oh, okay.
Right. So if he gets a 48, though, that's still a 47 or 48. That's still death for you. If it matches or meets or beats.
Yeah, but what's his hit points? If I hit him, what damage would I do to him?
Let's see. He picked Harden. He's got 40 HP, right? And if you're attacking with a weapon, you have 2 times strength, which is that's 20 when you multiply it, plus a d12. So you could, at max, you wouldn't kill him in 1 shot.
Well, didn't I have that other thing that put that up to 40?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You're talking about your skill?
I think so.
Because your skill is just going to affect, what's it called? Accuracy. That's what the skill rating does. Just means you're going to hit.
Okay.
Can you lose your limbs in this game? I mean, I guess technically, yeah. You can also be healed back to perfect unless your character has a flaw. That you're limp or something like that. How many Heartless will I see in this campaign? I'm going to guarantee you that you will see 0 Heartless in this game as a creature. Now, how many Heartless people you might meet, metaphorically, that's another question.
Yeah, under my skill thing, Axis. I got
yes. All that does is increase your accuracy.
Yeah, and it says. Oh, okay, and that put that up to 80. So
yeah. That just means you're not going to miss him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But here's the thing, right? You can do that shot as many times you want. Also, there's a chance that a 30% chance it might poison him.
Yeah. Also, I can jump too. Hey, I can jump and then float.
Well, you don't need to. You're already in the air anyway. Like the way the move jump works is you're in the air for a whole turn. You're untargetable while you're up there. Yeah,
but what I'm saying, could I'm also naturally floating too.
Yeah. What's that going to help you with this though?
I don't know. Well, I'm just saying, if I'm floating and while I'm jumping, I'm untargetable. Does that mean I'm untargetable all the time?
You're only untargetable while you're in the air.
Yeah, but I'm always in the air because I'm floating.
No. When you're using jump, When you're floating normally, you're only 5 feet in the air.
Okay, so you're saying with jump, I'm a lot higher than 5 feet?
Well, you're like in the air, like a bird or whatever.
Okay, so I can jump really, really high.
And then you come down like a meteor. That's why you do 200% damage. Now with that, you would one-shot him.
Yeah, maybe that's what I was thinking of.
So both of you would have the potential to kill each other. The real question is who gets to attack first.
Yeah.
Because if you go first, you could just jump and then be in the air until you came back down. And he wouldn't be able to target you. But if he went first, he could just hit you with a fire spell and you'd be dead. Now, I don't know why you guys... Like, this scenario should hopefully never come up.
Yeah.
I don't know why you'd be wasting your time fighting each other.
True. And Bullet says, don't you mean axury? Axury?
Yeah, I see what he tried. Accuracy. It's easier said than spelt. Even though spelling is what really gives off the pun. Looking at speed. I think there's a decent chance you would go first. But that's not entirely, because it's an initiation roll. So it's based off your speed, but you still have to see what the dice tell you. You are slaying Cocoa Bird. I only just now read that. Yeah, Chocobo. One of the staple creatures of Final Fantasy that you see in every game after 2. So dwarves that come above ground suffer some damage for a couple days or sometimes long term. I don't know what you're talking about. Is that something you read in the book, or is that one of the optional racial features? Let me look. Because by default, if you pick a dwarf, you're not going to get any damage. Let me see. Yeah, dwarf. Dense body. Dwarves have intense difficulty swimming. No, that's the only thing that they have that I know of. Yeah, I don't think dwarves take any damage.
Timmy says, dwarf do what? Gross!
But yeah, so dwarves suffer a negative 30 racial modifier on swimming rolls, regardless of the circumstances. I don't know, unless it was in the initial thing. Let me look. Oh, it's in the initial description. Okay. If it's something mentioned in the description, that means it doesn't have to take place mechanically. I'm looking at it now. You won't actually take damage unless it's in the differentiation part at the bottom, where it actually says this is a modifier. It does not apply to gameplay. That's just how you role play your character.
And he's asking how.
Oh, Timothy's asking, yeah. I think this only applies to the subsurface dwarves, too. Since not all dwarves live underground. Time mages are a thing. That would be, I believe it's under the mage job section. Yep, time mage. They learn time magic. Which include things like haste and slow and stuff like that. I believe meteor is a time magic in this game. While traditionally a white magic, I believe they're talking about, like, apparently you pull it out of some other time or space. What other time magics are there? I'm going to look at this. Let's see. Burn Ray. That's a pretty good starting spell. Hold, sprint, escape, tractor, like a tractor beam. Yawn, float, gravity, meteorite, slow speed, immobilize, ray bomb, regen. Regen is one of my favorite healing spells. Because while it doesn't give you a lot per tick, it heals you everything once a turn. For like 6 turns straight.
Yeah, it's just hopefully it's enough to stay alive and do the damage.
Well, usually what I do in the Final Fantasy games is if I have somebody who has regen, like at the start of the fight, I will cast it. It'll be the first thing that person casts. And then I'll cast it every single time it wears off. So that if the boss does hit, it's still just, ticking back up. It's like a preemptive measure you take. Can I be a time mage that threatened to send my teammates to another dimension unless they pay me gold? Let's see. You don't learn teleport until 3rd level magic.
Yes, but do you want to threaten somebody that can, kill you in one hit?
Yeah, who's like probably faster than you and will probably have a better like initiation roll.
So what do you think of that?
Time mages can make black holes eventually. What am I looking at? Your thing?
Yeah.
Let me full screen this. Or you just like, what do I think of the shading in general?
Yeah, the shading and lighting.
I mean, the color choice is fine, right? Like for the shades and tints.
Yeah.
You're not done, right?
Oh, probably am for now. I probably got to learn to blend and all that. But
yeah, well, because there's this one section that it looks like you pulled it out, but then it wasn't actually shaded in.
Where?
On the chest, like right underneath the upper torso, below the pectorals. Or were you just following the lines there? That's not supposed to be a full shade.
Yeah, I was just following the lines just to give some depth.
Well, that's just it's confusing because there's heavy shading on
this side.
Collar, Well, also, and on the collar of that side, so it looks
Oh.
like if the light would be consistent going down.
Yeah, I guess it would. I never thought about that because I did the shading on the blue first, and
Yeah.
So yeah, I was thinking about my light source over this way, but then I messing up by putting some here, and in here. But I'm thinking, I guess the arm is blocking. That's why it's shaded. I should probably do it ever so light tint around the edge there.
Can I be a mid-level wizard in the beginning who slowly loses his levels as time goes on? Oh man, that would be so hard for me to work out as the GM. Because I'd have to, like, one, we'd be ignoring experience, and I'd have to be, like, taking your experience down over time for me, or just, like, choosing when you should lose levels. I don't know, man. That seems like this game is already going to be a lot of work on me. Not that I'm not prepared for it, but that just seems like even more work for managing a single character. Gonna Benjamin Button your character, level-wise.
Okay, so I'm gonna save.
I mean, unless we just went with the raw system, and you would just lose the equivalent experience that they gain in battle, which would be kind of weird. Until eventually you just, like, run out of experience and die, I guess.
That's a hard one to figure out, eh?
Yeah. Because I know that would be, if you were, like, a really old character, like Tella from Final Fantasy IV, who, he was stronger in the past, but because of his old age, when you meet him, he's not as strong as he used to be. And then eventually he goes out in, like, a blaze of glory trying to kill the bad guy. It just doesn't work.
Timothy says, it sounds weird, or we all get his experience.
Evan's like, Timothy, why am I still awake? Why are you still awake, Evan? Like midnight where you are?
Yeah. Which reminds me. Okay,
time to close out the show.
Yeah. Let's see. You want to do your thing?
Oh no, I've just the same that I've been saying. We're preparing for this campaign, so I want everybody to mark it on their calendar whenever the day we set it that we don't currently have, but mark it anyway. Just start randomly circling weekend dates until we get there. But be prepared to watch this role-playing game when we go live.
Mark it this Sunday or next Saturday and Sunday for sure.
Yeah, no, just start circling every single weekend until we finally figure out. And then you could put an X through, like, all the other ones that we're not using. And, I mean, you don't really need a calendar anyway. This is just for me to make me happy. Go and do it.
Okay. And thanks for Metal coming on and sharing and doing all his stuff. And thank you, everybody in the chat, for coming by and being here, talking, listening, and all that stuff. Of course, we will be back tomorrow for high noon. So we'll see you then. Bye for now. God bless. Have a great and wonderful night.